Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel to another 3D video. As you can see, I'm not working on clothing currently. That's because I'm still working on clothing every now and then, but I'm trying to get my own human model to a finishing line. And what I'm doing in between is I'm already planning starting working on my next Yaha space, and in this case this is a homage to the 1997 Lords of Magic game. So I said I'm going back to the Lords of Magic content, and I kind of did, even though I'm not doing the missing lords yet. But what I actually did is I started working on the Chaos Temple. So the Chaos Faith, and the Temple being the one of the buildings in the game. And yeah, what I did, or what I tried to do, what I did is basically build a 3D model of the small temple that you can see here. I started with a cube. I used the tessellate function to just add more faces to it, add more vertices to it, and then used the extrusion tool to get the base form. And right now I'm using a mix of tessellation and of welding points to actually get this stair thing down, and I'm trying to emphasize on this a bit cartoonish structure, you could say. So like the whole thing is not completely perfectly geometrical. And yeah, first I thought I can reuse the skull that I used for the shaman headpiece, and I thought, hey, maybe I can reuse this for the goat skull on top of the temple, or for the bull skull on the front of the temple. But in the end I decided I'm going to shape the skull from the base, or the head from the start, also as a good exercise for me to actually get better down to these human, or not human, but to these animal structures, to these natural body structures that are still rather hard for me to empathize on. So this is basically me trying to do the goat skull on top, or the goat head on top of the temple. And yeah, from the thumbnail you could always see that I am kind of finished the whole thing, even though my hexagon crashed a few times, as is usual. And there was the usual, I didn't save for quite some time, and I had to basically redo a lot of stuff. So I'm working on the horns here, and my first idea didn't really work because I wanted this to work symmetrical, but I kind of screwed this up by so if you use symmetry and you hop out of the symmetry for even a little bit, there's a chance that you mess up your model. So basically what I did is basically I tried to do the horn protrusions, and they should be right from the back of the head, and by doing the extrusion without the symmetry, I basically kind of messed this up. So it isn't really symmetrical and doesn't really work as intended. So yeah, I had to basically at this first try I had to do the horns separately each, and yeah, I'm already at the point where I forgot to save, so I saved right after I did the extrusions, so basically right after I messed up my my symmetry, and yeah, this will come back to haunt me in this model. So I did the horns like 3 or 4 times because it kept crashing on some parts of the extrusion. I mean, I actually got the horns down here. Yeah, I'm working on the ears, so actually everything kind of worked. Everything was kind of where it was, and I just forgot to save. Which then worked out that I had to like do the whole thing multiple times, which kind of sucked. But yeah, I finished it eventually. Yeah, and this is basically the skull, and yeah, it looked kind of okay. Was happy with how it looked, how it worked out. Yeah. And the whole thing is rather simplistic because I wanted to keep it in the original style. For example, there's also the eagle heads in the picture of the temple, which I didn't include. I should have maybe, but I didn't, at least not at this point. Maybe I will add them, but I don't think so. Yeah, anyway, I copied the skull and just deleted the horns, changed the ears, and at this point, when I worked on the horns, it crashed, and I was back to the point where I actually was working on the horns for the first one, and at this point I tried to restore the symmetry of the horn part, but yeah, I really couldn't for some reason, so yeah, I had to work with what I got, and yeah, so this is basically a repetition. I really tried to just fix it, and I noticed, okay, I'm actually stuck at the point where I messed up the symmetry and I can't repair it. So my go-to solution in this case was to pick up a different part, set up the horns a bit lower than I originally wanted them to, but I could work symmetrical here, so I had symmetrical horns. And yeah, this is actually not the horns on the picture, but I didn't realize it at this point. So yeah, there's a bit of difference between the original temple and my version, but yeah. At this point, at least, I didn't forget to save every now and then, so yeah, sometimes I need to write myself of my own tips, because I tend to forget. Yeah, so this is the first, the goat skull, or the goat head. The original, I mean, the game is actually in a 640 by 860 resolution, so the game is actually really pixelated, if you want so, and so the picture that I have here is basically also the original is like 1/4 of what you're seeing on the screen. I basically yeah, scaled this up, which doesn't add too much pixelation to it, but it's still not that perfectly detailed, but yeah. So after basically setting up everything again, I copy pasted the skull again, and deleted the horns, closed the area up. For some reason it still didn't, yeah, I forgot to use the symmetry for this, but this is kind of okay. And here we go with the second with the cow skull that is in front of the temple, and then I used a simple tube to just do the, I guess it's snakes, I'm not 100% sure on this, to emulate the snakes that are in the temple. And I will probably, I'm not 100% sure of this yet, do the other temples, the other parts of the game as well. Right now I'm more like, I want to use this part together with a few other things for my next space, so this is why I mainly did this. And yeah, we'll see how the whole thing turns out. So this is the snakes, and it's really interesting how for a temple of chaos this is extremely symmetrical, but well, who am I to judge? I mean, they got the one obelisk on there, which I actually didn't include in my temple, in my version. So yeah. And yeah, this is a part where I actually was a bit stumped. So apparently I added extra vertices, extra lines, and this messed with the lines of my temple. So you can see there's like a sharp line at some area of the temple where they shouldn't be. And yeah, this was something I had to fix. And then I went on to do the UV maps, and the temple UV map worked fine. But apparently when I tried to do the UV map for the skull, it broke again, so I had to restart. At this point I'm doing the scribbles in front of the temple, and this is basically just a line that I more or less randomly clicked over and over and over on this part, put the depth into the wall, and then gave it a simple texture. But it also meant that I had to do this part with the extra lines again, so that I had an actually smooth temple and not just a very sharp, weird corner here. But yeah. Overall, very interesting thing. Had a lot of fun doing it, and yeah, we'll probably do more. At least I will do more of the chaos stuff for the space. And I decided I will do lots of magic as my next playthrough game, so look forward to that. That's it for today. Thank you guys for watching, enjoy the render, and see you guys around.